Khamzat Chimaev has shared his prediction for the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, expressing confidence that Makhachev will prevail. He emphasized Makhachev's superior wrestling and control as the decisive factors, arguing that those strengths will neutralize Della Maddalena's power and boxing. Chimaev acknowledged respect for Della Maddalena's physicality and striking ability, but maintained that sustained grappling and positional dominance would ultimately determine the outcome. Beyond that prediction, Chimaev spoke candidly about several other fighters. He called out Alex Pereira, Conor McGregor, and Nate Diaz, indicating a willingness to challenge prominent names across multiple weight classes. Chimaev described his ambition to chase double champion status and signaled that he has been monitoring the welterweight division closely. He stated that he is prepared to return to 170 pounds to pursue additional titles, and suggested that if Makhachev secures the welterweight belt he would consider opportunities to pursue that path as well. Chimaev framed his career objectives in terms of legacy building rather than short-term opportunities. He emphasized a desire to establish himself across divisions, targeting notable fighters regardless of the risks involved. While affirming his confidence against top opponents, he also acknowledged that elite strikers present unique challenges and require careful tactical planning. At the same time, he remained clear that his wrestling base and relentless pressure form the foundation of his competitive identity and that those attributes provide a reliable route to victory against high-level opposition. In more blunt remarks, Chimaev expressed particular disdain for aspects of Pereira's camp and leveled harsh criticism at certain public figures, suggesting they required intervention. Those comments reflected both his combative public persona and his willingness to engage in provocative commentary as part of fight promotion. He mixed tactical assessment with personal invective, underlining that trash talk remains an element of his approach to building fights and narratives. Finally, Chimaev noted that his immediate focus remains on his forthcoming bout with the Frenchman Nassourdine Amiev, which he described as a meaningful test. He reiterated that every fight contributes to a broader strategy of professional development and legacy accumulation. Overall, Chimaev's remarks combined a concise tactical analysis of Makhachev versus Della Maddalena, bold challenges to established stars, and a strategic vision for moving through multiple weight classes to cement his place among MMA's elite. He concluded by stressing continual improvement, respect for worthy opponents, and the role of rivalry in engaging fans and defining careers. Chimaev's combination of ambition, wrestling base and promotional boldness makes him one of MMA's most watched figures heading into 2026. In a recent episode of his podcast, Jon Anik delved into one of the biggest questions currently surrounding the MMA world: when and where Jon Jones will make his long-awaited return. According to Anik, Jones has been vocal about his determination to come back, making it clear that he is training hard and exploring every possibility to compete at the highly anticipated White House card. His dream matchup remains a showdown with Alex Pereira, but his main objective is simply to be part of the historic event, regardless of the opponent. Although Dana White has publicly downplayed the likelihood of Jones fighting at that venue, Anik suggested that recent developments may be shifting the situation in Jones's favor. President Donald Trump recently made headlines by expressing his desire to see major stars compete on the White House card, including former two-division champion Conor McGregor, Jon Jones, and Bo Nickel. Trump's comments, praising Jones and calling for his return, could influence the UFC's decision-making and add political and public momentum to the event. With Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane scheduled for their rematch and Alex Pereira currently recovering from an injury, the timing could align perfectly for Jones to make his comeback either against Pereira upon his return or possibly against the winner of Aspinall versus Gane. During the discussion, Anik and co-host Kenny Florian offered insights into the complexity of Jones's situation. Florian suggested that Jones initially avoided the Tom Aspinall fight to protect his legacy. He noted that Jones had verbally agreed to a lucrative deal before backing out, later apologizing and admitting his mistake. Anik agreed, adding that while Jones is not a natural heavyweight, his competitive drive would make a fight with Pereira particularly intriguing. For both analysts, a Jones versus Aspinall matchup was described as the one that got away, a fight they found more compelling than a potential clash with Pereira, despite the latter's established credentials as a champion. Florian further pointed out that the ongoing Gain rematch could delay the heavyweight division schedule, making Jones's next move uncertain. Nonetheless, he emphasized that Jones views Pereira as a fighter who has more than earned his place as a legitimate world champion and as someone whose accomplishments make a potential fight even more interesting from a legacy perspective. While some might see Pereira as a more marketable name, Anik and Florian agreed that Jones's motivation likely extends beyond entertainment value. He seeks meaningful challenges that solidify his status as one of the sport's all-time greats. Ultimately, Anik concluded that Jon Jones remains one of the most captivating figures in MMA. His potential return, whether against Pereira, Aspinall, or another top contender, would not only elevate the White House card but also mark one of the most significant comebacks in combat sports history. Days ahead of UFC 322, Jack Della Madalena's confidence has reached new heights as he prepares for what he calls the biggest test of his career. In a series of interviews leading up to Fight Week, the Australian welterweight champion declared that he plans to break Islam Makhachev and shock the world. Della Maddalena compared the upcoming bout to his dominant win over Belal Muhammad, promising to employ a similar approach of stuffing takedowns, scrambling relentlessly, and never allowing his opponent to settle into control positions. For him, the key to victory lies in constant motion, keeping the fight dynamic, forcing exchanges, and refusing to give Makhachev the positional time he thrives on. Della Maddalena also dismissed any concerns about physical disparities, arguing that Makhachev moving up to 170 pounds could actually make the fight more intriguing. He noted that the move might make Islam stronger and fresher, but that it would only make a victory even sweeter. According to him, defeating one of the most dominant champions in recent memory under these conditions would cement his place among the elite and silence any doubts about his grappling capabilities. Despite his confidence, he acknowledged that Islam remains a heavy favorite. Makhachev's reputation for grappling dominance and his momentum built through recent performances and high-profile appearances make him a formidable challenge. The MMA community is sharply divided. Many analysts predict Makhachev will secure yet another submission win, emphasizing his unmatched control and ability to overwhelm larger opponents. However, others, particularly Della Maddalena's passionate Australian fanbase and striking-focused followers, believe the champion's sharp boxing and exceptional takedown defense could produce one of the biggest upsets of the year. Della Maddalena himself has stated that while Islam is more than just a grappler and possesses a complete MMA skill set, he believes his own versatility and preparation will make the difference. He admitted that most people expect Makhachev to hold him down, but insisted that he has developed specific techniques and strategies to counter that. He explained that training for an opponent like Makhachev requires thinking outside the box, as fighters of Islam's caliber have seen every conventional approach. To surprise him, Della Maddalena and his team have been refining unique movements and escape sequences, supported by insights from coaches and training partners who have experience against similar opponents. He mentioned that his camp has drawn lessons from previous fights, including those involving Alexander Volkanovski, to better understand Makhachev's grappling system and tendencies. Della Maddalena emphasized that against a fighter like Makhachev, the key is constant activity. Many of Islam's opponents lose because they stop moving once taken down, allowing him to transition smoothly and consolidate control. By contrast, Della Maddalena plans to stay mobile, create scrambles, and never give the Russian champion the stillness he needs to execute his pressure game. He concluded by reiterating that he respects Islam's skill set but remains certain that with creativity, relentless movement, and sharp striking, he can turn this bout into a defining victory and prove himself as one of the most complete fighters in the sport today. Jon Jones appears to hold a significant advantage over Alex Pereira if the two ever meet in the Octagon, according to former middleweight champion Michael Bisping. While it remains uncertain whether Jones and Pereira will face off at the highly anticipated UFC White House card next year, Bisping made it clear that he favors Jones to win. Both fighters have expressed interest in competing at the event, with Jones campaigning heavily for a spot despite Dana White's skepticism about the matchup taking place. Pereira, the reigning light heavyweight champion, has also welcomed the idea of a super fight against the former pound-for-pound king, and their respective resumes have sparked heated debate across the MMA community about how such a clash would unfold. Bisping, speaking on his YouTube channel, broke down the stylistic dynamics that would define the potential showdown. He pointed to Jones's dominant win over Cyril Gane, where Jones immediately took the fight to the ground and secured a quick submission victory. According to Bisping, the same blueprint could be used effectively against Pereira. He argued that Jones's superior wrestling and grappling would present major problems for Pereira, who remains primarily a striker. In his words, it is one of those matchups that naturally favors Jones because of his versatility and experience across multiple skill sets. Bisping praised Jones's ability to adapt, calling him one of the most well-rounded fighters in MMA history and suggesting that Pereira would struggle if taken out of his comfort zone. Despite acknowledging Pereira's devastating striking power and championship credentials, Bisping maintained that Jones's fight IQ, reach, and wrestling base would likely determine the outcome. He also noted that comparisons between Jones and Tom Aspinall, or between different fights in general, are misleading because MMA math doesn't stack up. While Jones's victory over Gane appeared effortless, Aspinall faced greater difficulty against the same opponent, but that does not necessarily mean one fighter is superior to the other. Beyond his technical analysis, Bisping addressed the recent tension between Jones and Aspinall. Following Aspinall's controversial win over Gane, which ended due to eye pokes, Jones took shots at the heavyweight champion, suggesting that he could have continued and even calling him a quitter. Jones referenced Aspinall's previous defeats, including a TKO loss to Curtis Blades and a submission loss earlier in his career, as evidence of mental weakness. Bisping strongly disagreed with those claims, defending Aspinall and emphasizing the difference between quitting and suffering legitimate injuries. He explained that after the Gane fight, Aspinall had vision problems for days and that his inability to continue was completely justified. Likewise, during the Blades fight, Aspinall's knee injury was severe, and any suggestion that he chose to give up ignored the reality of physical pain and damage sustained in combat. Bisping also commented on Aspinall's early career heel hook loss in 2015, noting that tapping quickly in that situation was the correct decision. He pointed out that when a heel hook is locked in properly, a fighter only has two choices, to tap or risk catastrophic ligament damage. In Bisping's view, Aspinall's choice reflected intelligence, not weakness. Ultimately, Bisping's comments underscored his respect for both Jones and Aspinall while reinforcing his belief that a potential matchup between Jones and Pereira would heavily favor Jones. With elite wrestling, unmatched experience, and the ability to control where the fight takes place, Jones remains one of the most difficult puzzles in the sport, and Bisping is convinced that even a world-class striker like Pereira would struggle to overcome the challenge.